Hello, welcome to the latest bonus episode review for The Wind in the Willows, or I'm Mr. Toad, of course. This week it is Oarsman Toad. We are in the Christmassy period, hence the jumper in 2019, but this is by no means a Christmassy episode. This is more of a, I think it's set in the spring or summer. No, summer. It's a summer episode. But I do love it. It's one I have fond memories of because it was the first one on that Oh Mr. Toad VHS release. And I love it. Superb animation in this one, and I think it's certainly a favourite from what I can gather from Series 5 for many others. So without more ado, let's dive into it. Let's press play right now. It's one of those on the DVD box set where we don't get the Thames logo for some reason. There's always been a bit of confusion as to the broadcast order in Series 5, and I think one or two people mentioned it in my early reviews that they weren't sure about what order it is because the internet contradicts in certain places. But I did some research and looked into issues of the TV Times from the 90s or 1990 when these were broadcast, and they definitely confirmed that the order on the DVD box set is the correct broadcast order. Not necessarily the production order, because obviously that can vary, but the broadcast order. So that's nice to know. So Oarsman Toad, in other lists, it suggested that it's much earlier in the run of Series 5, right near the beginning. And it does feel a bit misplaced where it is. We've got episodes sort of in November or in December around it, but it's the way it was broadcast, so I'm fine with it. But this one, they all start, of course, with Toad in his bed, and when we dive into the riverbank, and this episode centres basically around a boating competition where you have your own homemade boat, and it's a rowing competition basically. And I remember when I first saw it, but when Channel 5 showed it, they very cleverly showed it around the time of the regatta, the Henley Regatta racing that we still have in the UK. And they did that with a lot of episodes. They managed to broadcast them at particular points that were relevant for, for events that were actually happening in 1998 or whenever it was, 99. And I like that. So. And that's kind of, in a sense, what I'm trying to do, but just not with the bonus one. And this is a Jackie Cockle episode. She did less episodes by the time Series 5 came along. She did the Tale of Two Toads special, of course. And I think it's Paul Berry on this one. Lloyd Price might have been on this one. We'll find out at the end. And it's interesting because I've just reviewed Old Lang Syne, the regular episode review this week, and it's so interesting going straight to a Series 5 episode where we've got no railway problem, we've got no underlying sort of thing that the other characters are concerned about. It's just kind of jolly life. There's no threat, there's no issue really. So it's a little bit more, I don't know. It's got slightly less depth because of that, but it's more of a sitcom. And I think I've said that many times before, Series 5 does feel like it's developed into this sort of kind of sitcom centering around Toad, of course, and the humour that we get out of that. So each series really has its own sort of feel. And even though it's the later episodes, a lot of them do feel slow paced, but this scene goes on a little bit. I mean, I know they're trying to get this boat pushed along. It's these poor little youngsters all trying to do it, and Toad's not even lifting a finger. And of course, they go straight into a rock. I love that. That's Billy's little waistcoat that was still on him when he was discovered, with the recent discovery of all the puppets that the archive managed to get. Billy Rabbit was included with that very waistcoat. And I love scenes with David Jason doing Toad and Billy Rabbit. Such different voices. feel quite dizzy having just done that.
Now what?
Now these youngsters amaze me. Now that I've seen a lot of these puppets in person, I was able to spend some time studying them. They're so basic, and yet they got so much out of them. And what amazed me was that the fingers, and on the weasel as well, the fingers are just wires. And I, as an animator, know that moving single wires is extremely challenging, and they break all the time. And more sophisticated puppets these days have ball and socket, joints and things, even in the fingers. And that's why one of the reasons why the hands are just worn away over the years, because they're so thin and delicate, and latex just wears away. And obviously they're the things that you animate quite a bit over and over again to get all those gestures, hand movements and stuff.
Have you made faster painter? Made faster? What are you talking about?
Billy Rabbit really is
Painter, Mr. Toad.
very simple puppet. You can't get a huge amount of expression out of him. You can't get him to smile and frown and do anything like the bigger main characters can do. Now I love this. Billy's speaking total sense. He's much more educated than Toad is. He's got common sense and more general knowledge. Love this. That pause is just perfect. Just look at the way they have a watch.
To stop the boat blowing away. What with the sails being up in there? Oh, I see. Well, I see. It's gone. It's blowing away.
A bit false this bit. Go away. Just look at it.
Oh, Mr. Toad. You
Not-
didn't
I'm
make
not quite sure it would have hit the post with that much impact and sunk that quickly, but there you go. I like that. Good directing there, starting with the finger, sort of doing that, the Toad. I love the animation of Badger here as well. It might be Paul Berry. It's just very, very well controlled, and we get a lot of that style of animation in the Tale of Two Toads as well. Beautifully done. He just has so much presence, Badger, when he's animated like this. It's hard to explain it. He's just got very clear movements, and he's not over animated, and he's just got that authority. And it's part of the way, it's the whole thing's designed anyway, that Badger towers over the others anyway. Gives him that natural presence anyway, but that tough Toad is lovely as well.
Not only irresponsible, not only incompetent, but dishonest into the bargain.
No, this dishonest is the key word here with Badger.
I was going to make it. But I had too much to do.
But that dishonesty continues. And it's got an interesting structure, this episode, where Toad goes from completely cheap to begin with. It should be a homemade competition, but he buys a boat, tries to pass it off as homemade. As Badger's totally hitting home with it all. Totally knows what Toad's up to. He's desperate to win the cup. And now Toad's like, right, I will build a boat then. He's going to do it. Badger's giving him the motivation, whether he intended to or not. Now, at least he's prepared here. He's got sheets over all his furniture, and we get a lovely plan of the whole beautiful library set. I mean, why he's building it in his library, I'll never know. I mean, it's not the best place, is it? And he's got furniture around. He's knocking everything over him. Such an idiot. Why are you building it outside somewhere? Got your sound effect there. Spring sound. I love this animation though, this wood. They obviously had a flexible, whatever it is here, it probably had a wire or something you can bend, but it absolutely looks like wood, but beautifully done. Now that's nice. Lower eyelids to show that sort of like, showing eyes, almost like a hypnotised state there. So he's trying. He really puts his mind to things. He does come up with some ingenious things. I don't think this boat is one of them, but think of other episodes like Piano Roll Toad, where he's got the bike connected to the piano, and it's just ingenious. And he builds that time machine. Not that it works. We assume it doesn't work. And then he's ended up with this banana-shaped boat.
Different? Is that all you can say?
Well, no, Toad.
It's so good. So funny.
I should try to roll things more. Well, I know you're
Now, the only issue I got with some of this animated Toad is that sometimes he looks a bit sleepy. His eyelids are down quite a lot, and I just think it's overdone in some way.
Well, I've got this.
Yeah, right. Hey, ambitious.
It's
I love how Toad repeats what Mole says, and he does that in lots of episodes with David Jason going over the top. That ambitious. Or like, I think of Lord Toad when Mole said, "Oh dear," and Toad repeats, "What do you mean, oh dear?" Rocking the head like that. So just doing a sarcastic repetition of the phrase.
I'm not sure, Toad. That would be altogether a good idea.
What? What would badger means putting it in the water?
Yeah.
That's funnier. That line's funnier than it seems. Of Ratty saying Badger means putting it in the water. It's not a good idea to put that boat in the water.
Well, yes, but not so much for a boat, eh? As a banana. A banana?
It's sort of warm.
Banana.
I think it'll go round in circles.
What?
If it stays afloat long enough.
If it stays up?
And then there's the seat.
Oh yes, you're joining in now, are you? That lot you know about boats.
And I do like that Mole. It's nice line there from Toad. Fat like you know about that. That's where he looks too sleepy to me a little bit. I guess they're trying to make him look a bit irritated and
It's facing the
angry
bow.
with them.
Well, of course it's facing the bow. I have to be able
He
to
still
see
looks
where
too sleepy there. I don't know.
where
Something about it. He should be more wide-eyed. I think with the way he's talking. I don't know. What do you think? I don't know. Nice flexibility again with the wood there. There, see how his eyes are wide open then? That's more suited to that scene somehow. Now that's nice animation again. They've obviously got some mechanism for this hammock to swing and control it back and forth. They're probably tightening something behind that. Have you noticed the weasel's foot? He didn't have what we call a foot bottom underneath. I think it was painted, but it kind of shows off the armature. I feel they should have had some sort of foot bottom. We always use them in puppets these days, where you hide the fact that it's an armature. Make it look like the actual underside of a foot. Now I did a painting of this scene once as a teenager. Oil painting, still got it somewhere. I love this incidental music. I would love to own it like on its own, isolated. Now that says, let's say Wilmington Road or something. I don't know if it's an actual place, but. So the chief's basically got the weasels working and making a boat for Toad. Now Toad, he never learns, does he? He's now relying on the weasels to make him something. He realises he can't do it himself. So his next way of having a go is to get the weasels involved and build one for him. Why would you do that?
I say, are you entering for anything in the regatta, Billy?
So there you go, Mole says the regatta, so this is an actual regatta. So it's got a lovely community feel to it, even though we don't ever see many characters. And I guess for budget reasons, if this had been an earlier script, like for series 1 or 2, we probably would have seen more crowds and the human characters have been involved. Mrs. Carrington Moss, I'm sure, would have been there, giving out the prize. So yeah, it must be just budget reasons.
Good me. What's that? Oh, the togs.
Togs. Lovely outfit that I don't think we see anywhere else. Could be wrong, or we haven't seen it before. Maybe we have. Lovely jacket, straw hat.
But you're going to row in the competition, in the homemade boat race.
No, it's not. Of course I'm
There he looks sleepy again. I don't know what it is about this episode.
Like that.
Yes, Badger, surely like this.
Someone has to bring a touch of
But
class.
a great posing again.
Going to row the hat,
Toad,
are you?
when you just lift the foot up slightly from the ground and you get that lovely shift of weight.
The sea.
Um,
Sea-wolf. A sea-wolf.
so the boat's called the Sea Wolf,
Yes, that's the name of my craft.
as the chief said before in the last scene.
Weasel.
Now he almost gave the game away, as he has in many episodes before.
Here they come. Right, let's put it down there.
Now I like these shots of Badger, Ratty, and Mole. So they know already, especially Ratty nodding there.
Yes, young one. Is that it?
Well, you should recognise him, Mr.
I'm not sure if that should have been a better shot there. We can't really see the boat as clearly as we'd like to.
Built that?
Surrounded by the weasels, the colours sort of blend in.
Yes, of course I
It'd be
did.
nice to get a clearer shot there.
I say.
Now I don't know if anyone's ever caught that, but Badger actually says a sea hippo.
Yes. Oh, well, yes. Well,
Wouldn't clear.
that's how it will endure the fiercest currents, you see.
There aren't any fierce currents.
Yes, and anyway, looks aren't everything.
Us as well.
But it is designed of the latest scientific
The
principles.
Badger's shaking his head there, I think. It's like almost a bit too much for the shape.
Goodness.
I've got to stop criticising the animation, it is great.
If you and your chap to launch it, I shall give it a little try out. It's sea trials, as we say to say.
Oh, yes. Right.
So it's not the first time Toad has given the weasels money to do something for them. I'm thinking of Lord Toad, where the weasels went and got what they said were archaeological treasures, or archaeonomical treasures, as the chief said, and Cave Toad, well, Toad gave money for them. And Toad was totally cheating, of course. So he's done exactly the same here, so he just never learns, does he? Because his pride takes over. You know, he's so desperate to win that cup.
Exactly, that's what I said.
Awesome, yes.
Right, well then, here goes.
So it's nice animation there, great sense of weight there. When Toad fell there, beautifully done. You speed up the animation, you increase your spacing. Got the rocking of the boat there. That lovely swinging of the arm.
Now you'll see something.
Toad.
Please, well, please.
Yeah, it's leaking, of course, already.
Yes, of course. Oh. Toad, do listen me.
I said please.
The fact that he hasn't even realised yet.
Oh, let's leave it. Badger.
I love that between Badger and Mole there.
What?
Badger's basically saying, yeah, it's the only way he'll learn.
Thank
Let
you,
him just kind of
Badger.
let him learn the hard way.
Prepare to cast off the pointer, and I shall. I say,
Yes, Toad.
did you hear a? Oh no! Oh no!
Guys,
It's leaking.
That's what I
the
was
way he
trying
said
to
this, it's leaking.
Water everywhere. Oh! Oh, it's. Oh no! It's.
It's sinking, Toad.
Ratty corrected him. Now, I don't like the way he delivers this line.
I'm all wet.
It just sounds very immature. I say I'm all wet. It's just a bit. I just don't like. I've never liked that line. It just sounds very childish. And I know Toad's childish, but that sounds like it's a children's program. Which, of course, yes, you could say it is, but I always think of it as more for everyone, a family program. But that's just a bit. I love that though. That's slow. He's slowly going down, and that would have been on a rig, very carefully worked out with increments. Doesn't work if you move the camera, of course, because the background will move with him. So he obviously had Toad fixed to a device that was just doing that. You know, I've done animation like that before. Really cool. Chief getting the great last line there. Famous last line. We cast off. I don't like the way he keeps saying, I'm all wet, I'm all wet. Now, is he crying there? I guess he is. Reminds me of Piano Roll Toad a little bit when he goes, ah. So, yeah, I like that one. It's, yeah, like I say, I had that Oh Mr. Toad video, and I remember vividly, I think I've said before, going into a W.H. Smith shop here in my hometown, and being able to buy a Wind in the Willows video. My mum was buying one and I could choose one, and the only two they had was this one, the Oh Mr. Toad video, and a Tale of Two Toads. And because I'd seen the Tale of Two Toads on TV, I was so excited by the idea of owning it and seeing it again, so I chose that. But I vividly remember leaving that other video thinking, oh, one day I'll get it, but it wasn't until years later that video popped up in another shop and it was much cheaper. And yeah, it had Oarsman Toad, Midsummer Night's Disaster, and The Complete Bungler. It was a yellow video, got it behind me somewhere. It's interesting how it was, when it was broadcast, it was Oh Mr. Toad, the series, and yet even the videos still had the Wind in the Willows on them. So it's still promoted even then, literally just after they were broadcast as the Wind in the Willows. But Oh Mr. Toad underneath. It's interesting. How it's got this double sort of identity. And I think in other countries, so those who watch this from the States or wherever else you are, let me know, how did you see these episodes? Were they broadcast on TV as Oh Mr. Toad, or was it as the Wind in the Willows? I think, from what I gather, it was only known as Oh Mr. Toad here in the UK, but I could be wrong. And of course, as we know on DVD, it's just released as the Wind in the Willows now. So there we go, Oarsman Toad. I think it is one of the better ones, definitely, from Series 5. Very good script. I think it's well structured. I think we've got this great sense of like Toad tries one thing, then another, because he's so desperate to get this cut, but failing miserably. And then he got ratty with his own boat. But I think we don't find out who wins. It's not that sort of episode where we see who the winner is. Not like the Grand Annual Show where Toad cheats and he doesn't win. Of course, weasels cheat. A bit like Paper Chase in that sense as well. We know who the winner is at the end, but this one is more out that Toad failing, isn't it? So there we go. Yeah, let me know your thoughts, Oarsman Toad. 2 more bonus ones left. That is it. Which are Toad in Love and Toad Filmmaker, both of which I adore. So yeah, join me in 4 weeks' time for Toad in Love. Otherwise, join me for the regular episode review. Happy New Year in a week's time. So all the best. Enjoy the new year, and I'll see you soon.
Compared with that of Toad, intelligent